Undirected team. How's it going, y'all? I am Dotsale, the undirected guy. And I appreciate y'all, team. I just want to start out with that, just saying I appreciate y'all. Like, I really just appreciate my teams in all aspects. You know, my basketball teams that I'm the captain of, my teams that I work with, as far as my crews, my team as far as my family, like the undirected kids, the undirected mom. We're all a team, right? And we have separate teams that we work with. Unfortunately for Starbucks, their team cannot seem to get it right. And when you don't function correctly as a team, ultimately you lose to the opponents. And there are opponents to Starbucks that are out there. There are places like Dunkin' Donuts. I guess they just call themselves Dunkin' now. There are places like, smaller, cafes that are around, smaller mom and pops cafes, which I would probably say that you should go to more than going to any of these big corporations. But one of their direct competitors are a Caribou Coffee, which I've actually had a friend that worked at Caribou and was a manager there, and she was completely overwhelmed by the conditions that was Caribou. Now, we're not really going to focus on all of that because we can get into the conditions that a lot of these coffee shops put their workers through. But right now, it's a lot more minuscule in what the issue is with these Starbucks workers, and it is something as petty as a dress code that, honestly, I don't think is really that bad. But what we're going to do is discuss it, and we'll get into it and just kind of see what's going on as far as everything. And I definitely want to hear from y'all, team. So if you could put your comments down below and let me know what you think about all of this, because we're getting ready to go. Let's get straight into this news article, and it's going to explain a little bit more about what's going on with what Starbucks is implementing as far as a dress code that is enforced pretty much immediately after only having about a few weeks warning. So we'll start here.
No coffee.
Tonight, outrage brewing at nearly 75 Starbucks across the country. Baristas are walking out.
We are currently on an unfair labor practice strike and have walked out here today because of the newly implemented dress code that is now being enforced upon our stores illegally.
Monday marked the start of new rules on what baristas are allowed to wear under those famous green aprons. The company requiring workers to wear plain black t-shirts and khaki, black, or blue denim bottoms. Under the old dress code, workers were allowed to wear other dark colors and shirts with a pattern.
Have you ever tried this one?
Starbucks Workers United, the union representing workers at 570 of Starbucks' 10,000 company-owned U.S. stores, says the dress code should be subject to collective bargaining.
It's not just our right, but our duty to rebel!
They filed a complaint with the National Labor Relations Board over the company's alleged failure to bargain.
Finding out last minute that you need to go out and purchase a brand new dress code that you can't afford, it's completely out of touch. Most of us are paycheck to paycheck. We can't afford to go out and buy new shoes, new pants, and new shirts. We need a livable wage. Talks were going great, and now they're not.
We're going to stop that there, and we will finish the rest of this video. I just want to touch on what she said real quick about the dress code. Now, as you can see right here, you got these people, and they are wearing clothes. I'm assuming that they paid for them unless they're boosters or they bought from a booster and they got them for free. Now, if you look down here at the girl kneeling down, she has quite a very, I don't know, it's very, I don't know, I want to say well put together, but it's definitely something that, you don't often see people wear. So I would say that it's very unique. And, you got, I just feel like this blowhorn doesn't fit the body stature of this one right here. Like, I mean, you need a full size blowhorn to fit your body stature. It seems comical for you to have such a small blowhorn. That looks like one that should be used by a child. Now, what I want to do real quick is I just want to look at what Starbucks is actually talking about with the dress code. So we're going to go straight to Starbucks themselves, and we're going to look at the dress code here. So we got it right here, team. All right. And we're just going to look over it and we'll see what's going on. We show up as our authentic selves and create a genuine human connection. We are a team of individuals who proudly showcase and wear the green apron by dressing in the approved color palette. We positively represent the Starbucks brand by wearing clean, wrinkle-free, hemmed clothing in good repair. We demonstrate our professional commitment to maintain customer and barista safety by adhering to food safety guidelines. Okay, that's what they said. And here you'll get basically what they want you to wear in more detail than just black shirt and khaki pants. They're actually giving more to it here. And so we see what we got here. And I think this is a lot more of what the issue is. It's going to come right here in this section right here where it says personal hats can be worn, including beanie, visor, playing baseball, whatever, hijab, if you're, like a Muslim or anything like that, and you got to wear like things that go along with your religion. And Starbucks will provide a hat where required. Hair must be secured away from the face. I'm going to have to tie my hair back if I work for Starbucks. I'm going to have to come all the way back here. I'm going to have to put it in a ponytail. I'm fine with that. Not fine with working at Starbucks, but if I did, I'd be fine with that. One facial piercing is allowed. One facial piercing. No larger than the size of a dime. It's not going to work with a lot of people working at Starbucks, it seems. Earrings and ear gauges no larger than the size of a quarter. My earrings work. Are these good? They're pretty small. Just one solitary diamond in there. Quite flawless. And tattoos are permitted except on the face or the throat. No face tattoos. It's asking a lot, Starbucks. I can't have a face tattoo. No, I can have a skull right here on my cheek, or like a broken heart right here, or what's the GTA dude? I can't have a dotted line across my throat that says cut here. I thought that tattoo was pretty cool, GTA. All right, solid colored pants, leggings, shorts, skirts. Leggings can be worn. Footwear, closed heel, Starbucks, including pants. So they got pretty much everything here. Must cover armpits, so you're not going to wear a tank top in there. They want you to have just a plain tee, basically what I got on right here, right? And Starbucks issued shirts, including Pants Network. Nail polish, so they don't want you to have like, graphic tees, like tie-dye shirts, gym apparel. They don't want you there with your yoga pants on. Hooded tops. They don't want the hoodie where you can just throw it over your head and kind of be hidden. No perfume or fragrance or grooming products. Makes sense. A lot of people can be sensitive to that when they're coming to get their coffee. They just want to smell coffee beans and maybe the smell of a scone or maybe a breakfast sandwich at most, and then they'll be good there. Nail polish or artificial nail coverings. These are all no's, by the way. Jewelry on hands, forearms, so having all the extra stuff all over your wrists and stuff. Yeah. And that's all they're asking for. Now, the lady did say something about the actual cost of all of this, so I took the liberty to check it out and see how much this stuff would cost. So we're going to go into that now. Right here, we got stretch woven khaki pants right here at $17.99. $17.99. So that's what that's gonna cost you. All right, just one coin, not too bad. Then we're gonna go into, if you want to go with the denim jeans, because that's an option. Well, you can get those for, I don't know if these look the best, but if you wanted to, they got them at Walmart right now in stock. Only $12.98. All right. Then they're going to ask you for some socks. Now, you can get, I 100 pair of socks right here. They got 100 pair for $34.29. Okay, 100 pair of colored socks for $34.29. But if you don't want to go with those, you can just get a 5-pack for $7.99, which adds up to, just over $1 for a pair of socks. And if you want to go, with something a little more nicer, you can go with some Old Navy crew socks. So that's not too much. It's gonna cost you a single shilling. Then we'll go to the last couple of things that they want. Some black shoes. Wow. These shoes are gonna cost you. These shoes are gonna cost you. You gotta pay $5 for the lady canvas slip-ons right here. Or if you want some shoelaces, it's gonna cost you $12.99. Target's got them in stock right now at $15.99 if you really want to ball out. Okay. And then lastly, you're gonna need a black shirt. Similar to the one I got on right here. I got one on right here, team. And this black shirt that I'm wearing right here, that Starbucks would require me to wear. See it here? Just a plain black tee. This cost me about $10, but I was actually balling. That's gonna be a double. But you don't need to be like me and spend $10 on your shirt. Nope. You can go ahead and just grab you a Gildan right here for $2.99 at Michael's Stores. Okay, so in total, we're talking about maybe less than $40 to get yourself right. Now, I will say that the Starbucks workers that put their outfits together might spend a little bit more than that on their clothes. And we'll go through it and see. I think I got it here. I mean, does her outfit look like it might cost a little more than what I just showed? You got the graphic tee here that's going to cost you. She got the old school camera right here. These cargo pants ain't going to be cheap. She's got the belts on there. All these little things on her key ring. I mean, it's going to cost you. Just buying this extra accessory right here that's draped over her clothing right here. That's going to cost you a little bit extra. Let's go back to the news story and finish up, team. They already basically wearing the apparel right here. Black tee with she's got the apparel on now. All the things around her neck and all this, that's not going to work, but basically she's there.
Go out and buy new shoes, new pants, and new shirts. We need a livable wage. Talks were going great, and now they're not. And Starbucks just continues to make changes that have nothing to do with our working conditions.
In a statement to NBC News, Starbucks said, quote, it would be more productive if the union would put the same effort into coming back to the table that they're putting into protesting wearing black shirts to work.
Shots fired. Shots are fired, bruh. Damn.
Company also said the strike is having a
Starbucks
limited
clapping
impact
back
on their stores, saying 99% of the stores have been open all week.
And Adrienne Broaddus joins us now with more. So, Adrienne, things have been contentious between the union and Starbucks for quite some time now. Where do negotiations currently stand?
They certainly have, Ellison. Starbucks rep says in the last year, specifically since April, they've had about 9 bargaining sessions over 20 days. That rep also telling NBC News they've reached at least 30 meaningful agreements that union reps said were important. Now, Starbucks says it remains committed to bargaining in good faith. And I'm paraphrasing here. They say they hope to, quote, reach a framework for single store contracts. By contrast, the union rep who you heard from in the story says the union is still waiting for Starbucks to return to the bargaining table.
Adrienne Broaddus, thank you.
Thanks for watching.
All right, so team, the question is, and I want to hear from y'all. I absolutely want to hear from y'all, okay?
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Who's wrong or right in this situation? And what should Starbucks do in this situation to fix this? Or what should the workers do in this situation to fix it? Now, for me, I'm just going to give you a quick idea of what I think should be done. I think that Starbucks and the employees should part ways from one another, effective immediately. You go your way, I go my way. And I simply bring in new workers that want to work with the dress code that I am asking that they work for. I mean, I created the business, you're working here, and we're at a standstill. So I think it's that simple. Now, the workers don't think it's that simple. They want to be somewhere where they're not accepted and where they're possibly overworked. Let's check this guy out real quick.
People wonder why we need a union at Starbucks.
I'll let him talk.
And I...
Or her. I mean...
I'm literally...
One second. We'll be right back.
Like, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but, like, I really want to. I almost walked out today, and I'm crying in the back room right now, and I almost cried on the floor. It's just... I'm like a full-time student. I get scheduled for 25 hours a week, and on weekends they schedule me the entire day, open to close. I'm on the schedule for 8.5 hours, both Saturday and Sunday. I'm like 3.5 hours into my shift. There's so many customers, and we have 4 people on the floor all day. Only 5 people were put on the schedule, and somebody had to call out. And there are 4 people running the whole store, and there's so many customers, and there's possibly scheduled 5 people. We only have 13 people employed at this store, and there's so many customers. And we don't have fair scheduling. Managers don't care about us. Our manager was supposed to come in this weekend, and he took himself off the schedule, so he wouldn't be able to be held accountable for calling out. He just literally tore down the schedule that he was scheduled on and put up a new schedule where he wasn't on the schedule. Also, he couldn't have even seen that he was scheduled in the first place because he didn't want to be held accountable for not wanting to come in. They don't want to help us. We need a union because this can't happen. This can't happen. We need fair scheduling.
Well, this video is actually not current. This was put out a while ago. I don't remember exactly how long, at least a couple of years, if not longer. You now have a union, and we'll look at that in a little bit here. So he got his wishes granted, although I doubt he still works for the company at this point. But the union has been formed, and these are the people that are boycotting and protesting Starbucks over the new dress code.
We need managers to hold themselves accountable for helping their workers. They refuse to turn mobile orders off. We need the liberty to be able to do that because there's so many mobile orders, and I need to get through all of them. And then people are yelling at me because I don't have their orders ready, and they don't know what to do. And a customer was misgendering me today, like really badly. I didn't have their order ready. And so they were just like talking to each other, and they're like, she's clearly incompetent. I have a full mustache and beard.
Ooh. You were misgendered? That's unacceptable. You know what? Overworked, misgendered. That's not okay. It's not okay. It's not. All right, we're going to skip over this. Let's see what the protesters got going on. Let's check them out real quick. We're gonna go through some of these protests and see what they got going on.
1, 2, 3, Union strong! 1, 2, 3, Union.
You better not misgender any of these people.
All the humanity! Union strong!
Woo! All right. Let's check out some more of them. All right, we got these ones.
I believe that we will win! I believe that we will win! I believe that! I believe that we will! I believe that we will! I believe that we will win!
Hey, listen. You see what she's wearing right there? That's all they want to wear. Just some booty shorts. I mean, and does she have a, hold on. Is that a shower cap on her head? No, that's just her hair. Or is that a shower? I can't really tell, team. Video's not very high quality. All right, let's see what else we got. We got more here. Check it out.
Here at 444 Broad. Hi, my name is Amber, and I'm the union representative.
Hi, Amber.
444 Broadway. We are currently on an unfair labor practice strike and have walked out here today because of the newly implemented dress code that is now being enforced upon our stores illegally, but we are bargaining for a contract and we are fighting for change.
Yeah. Yeah. They're allowing you to have tattoos all over your arms. But those bracelets right there, that's what Starbucks is saying they don't want. Those bracelets right there. Nah, they don't want those on there. You think that's asking too much, team? All right, let's see what else we got. We got a few of those. This is how they want them to look, by the way. They just want this clean appearance that just represents each store to be coherent with each other. So when you do a lot of jobs, and I officiate sports, basketball official, and what they ask us to do is be consistent, because we go to different schools to officiate games, and a lot of the things that the customers, or I guess you could say the fans or the coaches or even the players want, they just want us to be consistent. They want us to call things about the same. They don't want to go to one place, to one school, and have officials call a game one way, and then they go to another school and have it called a different way, because they prepare and prep for these things. So I actually think and believe, because it creates less confusion to just have a clean look all the way around for Starbucks employees, and then just make it so it's a lot easier for the consumer, which is the ones that actually pay your bills, because Starbucks doesn't pay you guys. I mean, the only way that they can pay you is by the customers. And I would think that the reason that they are making these changes is to ensure that they can make more money for the company to then give you what you're asking for. Possibly not, but it would make more sense that you would want to do the best for Starbucks and allow them to have their vision. And if their vision doesn't work, then you can roll it back and say, hey, look, we tried your way and it doesn't work. But I would probably say that coming in and having just a more approachable employee that doesn't look like they're going to be unpredictable would make the customer more at ease and want to spend more time within your establishment, or even just coming through the drive-thru would probably be about the same. But this is how they want them to look, and I think this looks a little bit better than what we have in some of these other things that we'll look at. I was going to look at this guy, but I don't really think it's necessary. We'll check them out real quick.
Skirts or something, along with their signature green apron. But the new dress code is upsetting a whole bunch of the Gen Z workforce.
Something that Starbucks loves to do is allow partners to be themselves, or whatever that PR that they want to push. I don't understand how that's in good faith of letting us express ourselves. I don't understand how that's supposed to embody craft and culture and bring us back to that coffee house kind of vibe that Starbucks is asking for.
Now, that was quite a high-pitched voice there, you may have noticed, for a person with a beard that is that thick. Here we go. I mean, it's got Starbucks written all over it, doesn't it?
We just want coffee. We just want coffee.
You just get a cup.
Yeah, they just want coffee. This is what I think is going to come to right here, team. We want to talk about this a little bit. Now, earlier on, I said that Starbucks should just part ways with its employees. The number one cost in any business is going to be your employees, the labor. You got to pay them an extreme amount of money. You see places like Amazon, and we'll just talk about them a little bit, they're actually moving towards having robots take over the majority of their workforce. They would probably like robots to take over 100% of their workforce, because robots are going to do exactly what you ask them to do, unless you have some crazy iRobot takeover, shout to Will Smith. And some people might say, well, I don't want to deal with a robot. I want to deal with a human being that understands me. Well, then you get attitude and stuff. Now, a lot of times we use something that is like this. It's a cell phone. A cell phone is where we do a lot of our orders. I recently put in an order at Whole Foods, and I did everything on my phone. Everything was on my phone, and at that point, I was able to complete the order, and then it was fulfilled. I never talked to a human being. I never made contact with anybody. I did everything through my cell phone, which is what most people do nowadays when they order anything. So with that, it doesn't really matter whether a robot or not is fulfilling your order. Now, when you put your order into Starbucks, you're going to say, I want black coffee, 1 teaspoon of sugar with, I don't know how much cream goes in coffee, 1/5 of the cup cream, I guess. A robot's going to give you those precise, exact specifications that you asked for within your order, and then they're simply going to bring out a robot arm to hand you your cup politely, and they won't try to press you for a tip because robots don't need tips at all. They do the work selflessly and exactly how you tell them to do it. And there's no attitude, there's usually no mistakes, honestly. And you don't really have any issues. My past video, if you want to just go back one video, you'll see where we had a woman that was arrested with her young daughter and made a whole spectacle because she had an issue with the workers at Starbucks. She had an issue with the workers at Starbucks, and I think you should check that video out because it actually ties into this one quite well with the type of people that work at Starbucks and also the customers that are frustrated with said employees for whatever reason. And it turned into a whole kerfuffle and basically destroyed the kids that were involved to have to watch their mother go to jail over a $7 cup of coffee. Whoever was right or wrong in that situation, I can almost guarantee you none of this would have happened had a robot had taken her order and fulfilled it. Possibly not. Let's continue to go on. I actually want to look at Starbucks. You know, we've seen these people. They're down here in the bottom. If you just want to have a good gaze, I put them down here so you could definitely look. And again, all of this extra stuff that they got on, I would just have to say is going to cost more than what Starbucks is asking as far as their dress code. And that's just me. I think you'd pay a bit more to dress like this than you would just to follow the black tee and khakis dress code. Even these people here, I mean, you see the kind of people that we're dealing with. They don't look very cleanly. I don't know if I'd want these people handling my drinks and food at most of the time. I would probably trust a robot much more. I'm really the one that has been pushing the robot thing. It's not necessarily Starbucks that's even brought it up, but I think that it would be a better business model for them and it would make things a lot easier. So you got her, which is looking like her nose ring. It might just barely meet the specifications of what they're asking as far as face piercings, because remember, it needs to be about the size of a dime, which will probably be about right here. So she definitely can't upgrade that nose ring to a bigger piece of fake jewelry within her nose. We'll continue to go. We got more here. Let's see what we got. We got a lot of stuff queued up here, team. No sound on this one. Yeah, a lot of this stuff is confusing. Just, the earrings, the necklace. It just really kind of, because these people talk about they want to be more inclusive, but it also makes other people uncomfortable. I think it's just easier when things are simple and you get what you pay for and you can move on. I think when you go through a lot of these things, it's no problem really, but it's just that you want to be indulged in these things. Most people that go to Starbucks literally just want their coffee and they don't want to be distracted, especially in the morning. I mean, like a lot of people that go to Starbucks are going there to try to get some pick-me-up. I did want to look at this one though, team. We're going to take a blast to the past. This is, did we get the date? Yeah, 1999 at Starbucks. This is more simpler times when Starbucks was operating before a lot of these new, like you didn't see this. I mean, you didn't see either one of these. You didn't have this guy here. No robots to really speak of. But then you also didn't have any of this really going on at that time. So things were just a lot simpler. Let's just watch this and just enjoy what Starbucks used to be at one point back in 1999, just over 26 years ago, or about that. We got some good music to go along with it. Very clean store. Now, I will say, I don't disagree with what's going on as far as the dress code here. Got the shirt kind of opened up a little bit. And maybe to show off a little cleavage that's not there. Cleavage, I should say. But we do got a white shirt under the green apron. Earrings are there, hats there. So there's a lot, there's some stuff going on. This is 1999. Do got the khaki pants on with the black belt. Gold watch. Very clean store. The store is so clean. Is this really 1999? Let me look at something real quick. Doesn't that screen look a little too modern to be 1999? You could definitely tell it is from like 1999 based off the way that people are dressing. That screen looks actually pretty modern though, honestly. It's about what they use now. Help me out with this one, team. That screen does not look like it's from 99. That's interesting. Let's see if we can find any other Easter eggs. Like really, does that? I guess it's not a touchscreen though. That would make sense. Maybe not. Yeah, you can kind of see with the... And I wonder if he's going to pay with cash. You can definitely tell by the way the customers are dressed, and even the employees are dressed, and this is from that time period. You can look at the register. You can see change right there, so she paid with cash. Yeah, simpler times, a lot easier. Yeah, you can even see like up at the top, there's really no digital, a lot of times now you're seeing like digital screens that show the menu and stuff. Makes it easier to change, different things like that. The employees look like they're just chilling though. I mean, I would actually not really mind that. But when you even look at this, I don't like that the employees aren't matching, but there's not anything overly crazy going on. Again, just referring back to this, like, it just makes it a little strange. And I'm not really sure exactly what's going on, but different times, different measures. But we definitely want to look at that and just kind of see where we've came to. Now, we did have this. I don't know why I pulled this up. I think I had something to talk about. But what if... Well, you think everybody'd be fine if they dress like this over at Starbucks? I don't know. Y'all let me know. We just got some stuff pulled up. All right, let's check this person out and see what they're talking about. I think we've seen a clip of this already.
Because for some reason you all can't understand how
all right.
Thing that Starbucks loves to do is allow partners to be themselves or whatever that PR that they want to push. I don't understand how that's in good faith of letting us express ourselves. I don't understand how that's supposed to embody craft and culture and bring us back to that coffee house kind of vibe that Starbucks is asking for, because for some reason you all can't understand how to schedule more people in a zone. You can't understand that people...
You better be glad that Starbucks ain't asking for a weight requirement or a physical fitness to go along with working at Starbucks, because you would be disqualified immediately.
To tell someone that they are okay, that they should be doing the work of 4 people, that's disrespectful. I'm sorry, how often do I see you actually on the floor and actually helping instead of going against things that help us? When you're...
Now, I don't disagree with what this person is saying at this point. I don't want to misgender. I'll just say this, though. It all depends on pay. I'll do the work of 4 people. I'm more than capable in many situations, and I've done it before. Well, maybe not 4, but at least like 2. Like officiating, for instance. Like I can, technically you should have 3 officials on a game, 2 depending on the level. But there's been times where there was a shortage of workers and I didn't have a partner. It was just me. And I should have 2 to 3 people that are on a game, but nobody to work. So I did the game by myself. 1 person to basically control a full court of athletes, 10 of them at a time, not including the bench and coaches. And I'm doing that game by myself with 1 person. Now, I can do it, but you're going to have to compensate me at the level that you would pay 2 people. So I'll give an example, not an exact price, but let's just say I'm getting $100 for 1 game. Well, I'll need $200 a game if I'm doing it by myself. Now, what I will say is that these companies, for some reason, which is very strange and I don't agree with whatsoever, and this does need to be changed, when they do have us do it as 1 official, instead of paying us what they would pay for 2 officials, which would be $200, they tell you we'll give you time and a half. So they'll give me $150 when I'm doing the work of 2 people. And if that other person was here, you would pay $200. But because I'm doing it by myself and you don't want to give me $200, I guess, even though I'm doing the work of 2 people, you want to give me $150, which is very, very disrespectful and egregious. And it's something that the companies, they get over on the employees with, and I think that's disgusting. But to complain that you got to do the work of 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 people is really not an issue. The only issue is if you're not getting compensated for doing that work. And I don't know if that's quite the case. I would like to get clarity on that. I don't think this person explains it, but yeah, I'm totally fine with that. Actually, a lot of times I can do it pretty much easy enough. I got to work a little harder, but I think it's worth it for the double pay.
Your partners are saying, I need you, I need help. Sorry, we're busy. I'm doing admin. Sorry.
This is not a legal action that Starbucks is taking by unilaterally deciding what the dress code is going to be and then creating this so-called feedback session where the dress code is already created and we're just expected to let off some steam and still accept it. Lying down. This isn't a feedback session.
That any of these partners feel manipulated by all of you all who are also continuing to push this agenda on us. And that's all I really have to say.
Manager not in dress code. This is ridiculous, man. What the hell is going on?
Come on, man.
You know, team, we hear this and it's just like, I've always been really of the account, like, just don't go where you're not wanted at. I've never tried to force myself into being around people that I don't need to be around or working for a place that I don't want to work for. The second that you say some stupid stuff, I'm gone. I'm out of there. Starbucks, you don't align with what I align with, I'm leaving. I'll start my own coffee shop. I'll call my coffee shop Buck for the Stars. And I'll go into competition with the neighborhood Starbucks down the street and offer a better service. And my employees that I will hire will be able to wear whatever the hell they want. And we will have a totally inclusive coffee shop where people can come and enjoy themselves. All the people that you got put together right here, y'all couldn't just start. These people right here alone, just this crowd right here. All of y'all can't get together and put a coffee shop together right now. A few of them. And just cut Starbucks off. It might take you 2 or 3 months, 6, 7 months to get it off the ground. But then you can work for yourself and you can wear exactly what you want to. But instead you want to fight with Starbucks and complain about things that, in all honesty, I don't even think are worth complaining about. We got a couple more slides and we'll get up out of here, team.
This is a union town. Dallas is a union.
Dallas is a union town. I mean, these type of photos right here, it's difficult because I don't really understand why, as a consumer, you want to deal with people like this. They don't care about the company that they work for. If they did, they want to do what's best for the company. They'd actually want to come together and figure out a way for the company to be more profitable and give a better experience to the consumers. What I'm not hearing here at all from any of these people is what the customers want. It's what the customers want. I'm not hearing it. And it's quite frustrating because it's just very selfish. We'll go ahead and look at this real quick. Yeah. Let's look here. Clothes that were banned from Starbucks. So, we probably don't have, I don't know, there could be sports people in here. Let's just think of anything though, right? What if the guy that was, and some people may or may not care, but I believe that in certain situations, you need to dress properly. Let's say, for instance, that you are, I don't know, you're a construction worker and they ask you to wear a hard hat, but instead you want to wear this hat right here. Who would actually be in the wrong or right at that point? And you might say, well, that's a safety situation. It's also aesthetics. Seeing you're more confident in somebody that is gonna build your house when they're wearing the proper attire because they just look like they're more professional and they're more equipped for the job. When you see somebody that is dressed very strangely and oddly, you just don't quite trust them and understand that they're there and prepared for work. So seeing this, although it's just coffee, and I think we actually had one more slide I want to look at. Let me see if I can find it. We'll look at a couple of more of these people real quick without the sound on, because I don't know what music they were playing, but it wasn't very good. And we're going to look, and there was one thing I wanted to look at. Let me see if I can find it real quick, team. We'll slide this out real quick because I do want to see if I can find it. It was a very interesting post that I seen. I'll see if I can find it here. Somebody asked. Oh, I don't got it. I thought I had it. I thought I had it, team. I don't got it. It was basically along the lines of, what do we got here? Oh, yeah, I was going to talk about this, but it just shows like the calories of the actual coffee. I think we go back into here, so it talks about that. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go on an undirected perspective. We're going to go dark for this one. And the reason why we're going to go dark is I don't think anybody wins in this situation. I don't think anybody wins. I think everybody's a loser. And, with practices like this, I feel like Starbucks will eventually go out of business and fail as a company. They've already had to close multiple stores because they were oversaturated, where there was a Starbucks on every corner at different points. The strange thing about it is I don't drink coffee at all. I have been at Starbucks before, just, with other people, and my mother used to work at Starbucks, and it was a lot different at that time. And you know what? You want to get the undirected mom on the phone? We got some time. Let's do it real quick. Let's see if we can get her on the phone. We'll see if she answers. Usually she does. We're gonna get her on the phone. We are gonna call the undirected mom and see if we can get her perspective on this. I do this live, team. None of this is planned.
Hello?
Hey, Ma.
Hi.
How are you doing? I'm recording right now, and I wanted to see if I could talk to you a little bit about the Starbucks situation. I don't know if you looked at it or seen
I
anything that's
did.
going
I
on.
couldn't really find any information on the clothing aspect or the tattoos or earrings or whatever it is they're objecting to. But I will just say this one thing. Whenever you work for anybody, there are what you have to wear. When I worked for Starbucks, it was khakis. I had tons of them. And a polo shirt and the green apron. And no nail polish.
So,
Which most restaurants you couldn't wear nail polish because it chips and it can get into food. So no nail polish ever.
so what one of the people were saying, I'll let you just hear the audio real quick. You can't see the screen,
Okay.
but I'll let you hear the audio. They were talking about the cost of it. So here, I'll play this for you and see what you think about this.
We need a livable wage. Talks were going great. And that
Company's alleged failure to
it's
bargain.
right here. It's right here.
finding out last minute that you need to go out and purchase a brand new dress code that you can't afford, it's completely out of touch. Most of us are paycheck to paycheck. We can't afford to go out and buy new shoes, new pants, and new shirts. We need a livable wage. Talks were going great. And
What do you think about that?
Well, I don't know what they had to buy. Shoes, you definitely have to go somewhere and buy shoes. I mean, I'm not buying shoes from the thrift store. But when I first got the job, I just went to the thrift store and bought khakis and some polos.
So
That's what they have now.
I took the liberty of looking it up. That's what I did early on in the video, and they had khaki pants at. I'll look it up right here. Khaki pants costed you about $15. The blue denim jeans you can get for as low as $12.98 from Walmart right now in stock. You can get about 5 pair of socks for about $6 over at Amazon or pretty much any place. Well, actually at Amazon you get 100 pair of socks for $34, which is significantly cheap. You can get a pair of black shoes for $12.99 at Rainbow Shops. Target right now has a pair of sneakers for $14.99, and then lastly, you can get a black T-shirt for about $2.99 at Michael's stores or Walmart.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. When I first started working at Starbucks, I just went to the thrift store. I got a couple pair of khakis that kept me going until I got a paycheck, and then, eventually I did buy some nicer khakis. But my question is, khakis are pretty cheap. I don't know what kind of jeans. What was the jean dress code that they could wear? We couldn't wear jeans when I worked there. So who doesn't have jeans in their closet? I'm serious. My closet is full of jeans. You know that.
Well,
Who doesn't have jeans in their closet? What kind of jeans? Is there a specific brand of jeans you have to buy? Is it just jeans, shorts, long, ankle? There's different types of jeans. So what kind of jeans do they have to wear?
Just regular jeans, the ones that I named that you can get for like $12.
So I have a closet full of regular jeans. I'd be happy to wear jeans to Starbucks. And I'm sorry, none of these people have jeans in their closet.
Well, the funny thing about it is a lot of them have like outfits that are overly flamboyant and have a lot of different pieces and actually look more expensive than the dress code by far.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this is a lot about nothing. I don't know. I never spent a lot of clothes on Starbucks stuff because sometimes it's no copy and stuff. So my clothes were pretty cheap. But being able to wear jeans, I would have loved that. And like I said, I didn't spend much money on T-shirts. I went to the thrift store and I just got polos. They have tons of them.
Did you have a problem with applying with the dress code when you worked at Starbucks? Again, how long did you work at Starbucks?
Oh God, I worked there about 6 years.
6 years at Starbucks. Never had an issue with the dress code. What do you think about it from a customer experience as far as like, do you think that uniformity within the Starbucks corporation would be better for the consumers?
I don't think this consumers really care about that, but I think no matter where you work, you have a dress code. I worked at restaurants, I worked at other places, always a dress code. So I'm a little confused as to what the problem is. Because if you stop working at Starbucks, you go work at another coffee shop. I worked at Caribou too for about a year. They had a dress code too. I worked at restaurants that had dress codes. Some provided uniforms and then you just left them and they washed them and gave them back to you. Some you had to get your own clothes. I mean, there's always a dress code. And frankly, I would have loved to have been able to wear jeans when I worked at Starbucks. Like I said, most people have a whole closet full of jeans. I don't see you rushing out to the store to buy jeans for Starbucks. And those little polo shirts, they're everywhere. And like I said, I just went to a thrift store. I bought some, I got paid. I went back to the thrift store and bought some more. And who doesn't have socks? What kind of socks do you have to wear? They didn't specify.
Just regular socks, I'm sure. Just black or white socks. That's what I'm saying. Probably
they don't want you being barefoot. And that's in any restaurant.
Well, I had a thought, and this is actually just my thought. It has nothing to do with any of the articles or anything that are out. But I was thinking, like, do these people want to get replaced with robots? And honestly, like, are we moving into a point where these employees are asking for something that's too much? And oftentimes, like, that's the biggest cost for any company is their employees, which is why you see companies like Amazon basically having robots in place replace them because they don't complain about things like this and they won't argue about the dress code. Do you think that you'd have just a good of experience if robots replaced these workers at Starbucks? Because you were just there recently, right, for coffee?
Yeah, I was. I didn't see anybody looking weird. There was a guy who had a lot of tattoos, but didn't really bother me. I just kind of looked at him. I was just trying to see what it said. But as long as they got the drink right, I guess I wouldn't really care. But I actually liked working at Starbucks. I liked being around the customers, you know, they were regular. So I don't go to Starbucks enough to be a regular, though. So at this point, I don't go there very often anymore. I usually buy my coffee online. So I guess it wouldn't matter as long as they got it right. Like the last time I was there, they were extremely slow. In 10 minutes, and there was hardly nobody in there. There was no line. There was just a few people sitting. It still took them 10 minutes to make 2 drinks. So I was a little annoyed by how long it took them to make 2 drinks when there was no line. It was just me and your brother there, 2 drinks. So a robot might be faster.
Definitely be more faster and more efficient.
10 minutes. It took a really long time. I had to go sit down. So I was annoyed by that because I always tip.
Well, you wouldn't have to tip a robot. They wouldn't ask for one.
That's true.
So in that situation, like basically they're worried about dress codes, but they're not getting coffee out in a timely fashion.
Yeah, there were 2 people working, and it took them over 10 minutes to get our stuff done. And I mean, it took them about a minute to take the order because I already knew what I wanted and I knew what he wanted. So the orders were done really fast, and then we waited. And I looked around the store and we waited. And I looked over there, there were no customers, so we waited. So it was a long time. I was annoyed. I mean, if it's in the morning or afternoon or busy times, then of course it might be a wait. But there were 2 people working, and it took them a long time to make 2 easy drinks.
I did want to play devil's advocate just a little bit, and I was looking at how much Starbucks made. This is 2023. Starbucks total net revenue reached a record $36 billion, representing a 12% increase compared to the fiscal year of 2022. So this is a couple years ago. They were able to increase their revenue 12%, which is a very significant number. And they did that basically with the dress code and all the stuff that they have implied. Do you think that they could possibly be mistreating their workers? And I wanted to ask you specifically, when you worked for Starbucks, what was your experience there as an employee?
As an employee, I liked working at Starbucks. I don't feel like I was mistreated. Actually, I was in touch with a lot of the people I worked with for a long time. After I worked at Starbucks, we kind of lost touch with each other. But no, I didn't feel I was mistreated.
And I did want to add one more thing. Just with the company at Starbucks, they actually had you take stock in the company at that point when you worked there, which was a while ago, but they probably don't do that anymore now. But they actually gave you stock in the company, which ended up being quite profitable for you well after the fact.
Yeah, they did. It did, and it was. I guess they don't do that anymore.
I doubt it now. Why would they want to have these people that are working for them? And it could have a lot to say with why there's such vitriol between the two. Because, like you said, you had a great experience with Starbucks and they treated you quite well. Also, basically force you to take stock in the company, which is usually going to be more than what you'll just get paid as far as them paying you just salary or hourly, which is the reason why you look at CEOs. They usually take a compensation package that is going to be more heavy in stocks and futures within the company rather than just taking a big salary from them, because it's their job to make sure that the company, does well, and then they'll get their money on the back end. So they did that for their employees at different points. But I guess maybe as their employees started to get a little more entitled, they wanted to remove that, or maybe there was some other reason. I'm not sure, but that was interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. I didn't realize they didn't do that anymore. All I know is in the last several years, the customer service at Starbucks isn't the same as it used to be. They made drinks that weren't right, and I'd have to tell them, this is how you make it. Or they get drinks wrong. And they also just recently, like, I don't know, not too long ago, just started actually not making you pay extra for non-dairy things, which you used to have to pay for, which is the reason I wasn't going there very much, because I don't drink milk. Oh,
so if you want to get oat milk, for instance, then it'd be like extra $1 for oat milk rather than the cow milk.
Money, yeah, for those things, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big difference as well. Yeah, so your experience was good. And now,
if they don't have to have specialty clothes, like you can only buy these clothes from Starbucks Corporation, when you can go to any store and buy jeans. You can go to any place and get khakis. You can go to the thrift store, but maybe they're too good to shop at the thrift store. I wasn't. They were cheap. All in all, I spent about $15 on my first couple outfits that I had when I worked at Starbucks a long time ago, though.
I have a very, very, I feel like even if they got a per diem to be able to afford this stuff, which would be roughly about $60 to $100 to be able to afford their dress code, that there'd still be an issue. I don't think this has anything to do with the finances of it, because these people spend a lot they spend a lot of money on their appearance. And when you see this video, you'll have a better understanding of what I'm talking about when you see the apparel that they wear.
They wanted me to sign in, and I couldn't even remember my login for X, so I couldn't go in and actually look at the videos that you sent me because you had to sign in. So
yeah, that's fine.
But I'm just saying, khakis. There's not a specific. I think you could wear shorts in the summer, which I always just wore long khakis, and jeans would have been great. And polos. There was no specific polo. It's just, I think it was just short sleeve or something like that. And they provide the apron. So, and I'm sorry, I have black shoes. And even if I had to buy some, okay.
These clothes also work for other things than work. I mean, you can wear these.
That's what I'm saying.
In other places.
Shoot, I could go in the back and take that polo off and put on some other clothes and go somewhere. Versus my Starbucks khakis and T-shirts I used to wear all the time. I mean, I worked at Target for a while, and I think khakis were their thing too. So I didn't have to buy anything. I had to go get some red shirts, some red T-shirts to work at Target. But that I went straight back to the thrift store and got a couple of nice ones for real cheap.
I think a lot of the last thing I want to talk about is, what do you think about just the fact of, if you allow somebody to work in your store and there's no identification of the worker. For instance, you just mentioned Target. Let's say you go to Target and they're allowing people to go in there and wear camouflage shorts, a tie-dye shirt, a blue hat, and white shoes. As a customer, would it not make your experience worse to not understand who the employees are there and to be able to identify with them immediately, to understand who you're working with?
I mean, there's times I go into Target or somewhere and I can't find someone. I have to find somebody who works there, so I know what to look for. Look for khakis in that red shirt and you'll find somebody. I mean, Starbucks pretty much they're behind the counter, but still, you see those green aprons, you know they work at Starbucks. I think it's rude to expect that you can decide what you should wear at a job that you're being paid to do. It's not your company. You're an employee. So I'm a little confused on what gives you the right. If you don't like the dress code, get a different job.
Yeah. And I actually said, you know, with all the people that they have protesting, they could easily, you know, pull up their money together and start their own coffee business, coffee shop, whatever, and make it to where it works with their dress codes and everything that they want and need. And they can just not work for Starbucks at all.
I agree. There's tons of coffee shops out there. You can go work at Caribou, but they also have the dress code too.
Yeah, but my thing is also like, because there's also the consumer that seems a bit irritated with this, that's getting involved. And I would also say, like, why are you even getting coffee at Starbucks? Now, I know you are a Starbucks person. You get all your coffee at Starbucks. Have you ever considered going anywhere else for coffee?
Actually, no. And like I said, I worked at Caribou, and you get coffee there too. As an employee, you would get, I think it's a pound of coffee a month or something. You get coffee. I didn't like their coffee, and I did work there. I gave the coffee away. I've always liked Starbucks coffee, so I always buy it. Now I just buy it online. I rarely ever go to Starbucks to buy coffee anymore.
Which was one of the reasons I said that robots are actually a better idea, because the way that we engage with our shopping habits now are usually online. Like, if you have me go pick up something from Target, you never engage with an employee at all. You do everything over the phone. You send me the code and you say, hey, it'll be ready at 2 p.m. I go there, they load it in the car, and that's it. There's never any engagement with anyone.
Yeah, that's actually what I do. I do miss shopping some, but yeah, it's easier that way, and I don't spend extra money. Because when I'm in the Starbucks, I spend extra money. So if I'm buying it online, I'm not spending extra money because I already bought what I want. There's no distractions.
And you usually don't have to deal with incompetency or attitudes from employees.
Yeah. And people just being super slow, which just totally, I couldn't understand why they were so slow. There was nobody in line. It was just me. There was a couple of people already in the store they already had stuff. So it was basically just me and him ordering. And it took them like it was between 10 and 15 minutes.
And I don't know what people might say. They might say, well, there's still humans that are actually fulfilling those orders that you do online. And I agree with that. The issue is that you have time because you have a window, which they have enough time to fulfill that order. When you're dealing with somebody in real time and they can't actually improvise and make decisions on the fly and be able to make your order in a timely fashion, then you get long wait times like what you experience because they're just not efficient.
Normally, I would ask them to do special stuff for my drink, but I didn't even ask that day. I didn't ask them for anything special. I think I asked for an extra shot in the Frappuccino because they're usually too sweet, and so I always get an extra shot. But his Frappuccino was just regular. Whatever they do, that's what he got. So there was no specialty stuff like, oh, I want one shot of this and a half a thing of this and a teeny, because some people do that. It's annoying, but they do. But I didn't ask for anything special. It was just a regular drink. I just said, you still have those? She said, yeah. I said, then give me a coffee and mocha Frappuccino. That's it. And the same with him. He got the caramel Frappuccino, so there was nothing special.
Yeah.
And there was nobody else in there, so.
So we're gonna wrap it up here. Do you have anything else that you want to add to this or anything as far as like
No, I
this whole
just think this
situation?
clothing thing it just doesn't seem to be that important to me. I've never worked at a place where, even when I worked in corporate, you had a dress code. Skirts had to be, if you wore a skirt, it had to be below your fingertips, so no higher than your fingertips.
We're gonna switch to light now.
A dress code. Yes, there's always a dress code everywhere. Starbucks has always had a dress code. It's very casual, but it's a dress code.
My last question for you is, do you think what Starbucks is, because this is what it breaks down to, do you think what Starbucks is asking is unreasonable?
No.
Khakis, black shirt, green apron, no face tattoos, no big gauges in your ears, no big piercings, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and they also had something about they don't want you to wear like fragrance and different things like that.
Because you're in a coffee shop. Most places don't allow you to wear fragrance because people always overdo.
Yeah.
So yes, you don't want fragrances with the coffee, so I understand that. As far as tattoos and nose things and all that, when I worked there, nobody had any of that stuff. And I don't see it very much when I work there now. I think the last time I was there, the one person did have tattoos, which you could see it going up his neck and his arms. But, I mean, it was noticeable. It wasn't really a distraction because I was just thinking, how long is it going to take you to make these drinks, dude?
Yeah, that's all you're really worried about. And I think that's the main thing. But I think that this is probably better for Starbucks overall, just to have more conformity throughout all of their stores throughout the world and even just America. So it's very interesting. I guess we'll see how it goes and, what the fallout of this is, if any, significantly. But there's a lot of people upset and angry about it to the point that it made national news. So definitely want to talk about it. I'm glad that you came on and you were able to kind of give some contrast to what I was saying. So I appreciate you.
It sounds like it's more about the earrings and those things, more about the tattoos and those things versus what they're wearing. Because I'm just going to say, most people have jeans in the closet. Most people can afford to buy a khaki shirt. Even if you have one, you have to wash it every other day. I think it's more about the other things.
I actually agree with that. And they do want people to be like groomed and not a lot of facial hair and stuff like that too and all that. So yeah, you're probably right. It probably does have more to do with that.
But you are representing somebody else's interpretation of they pay for it.
Well, what one of the people said,
and you work in their place.
Well, one of the people said that was protesting was basically, I'm paraphrasing and you can see it in the video, but he basically said that Starbucks is not allowing its employees to express themselves in a way that they want to.
All the rest of the time and you're not working to express yourself. Right now, in this moment, for these 6 or 7 or 8 hours you're working for them, you're expressing Starbucks, not you, Starbucks. And any place else you work, you are expressing that company, not you. So give me a break with that nonsense. Want to wear lots of makeup and tattoos? Go outside and wear all the makeup and tattoos, or find a place that you can work and have all that stuff. Stop voicing your views on Starbucks.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think we'll end it there. I'm going to wrap up with the audience, with the team, and I will talk to you later, Mom. I love you.
All right, love you too. Bye.
Bye. And you got it right there. Undirected Mom pulled up, and she is just... completely awesome. We're gonna get out of here, team. And I actually lightened it. We were going dark, but Undirected Mom, she just makes everything just like more fun and bright and light and just not as serious and not as dark. Love her attitude, love her perspective on things. As you can see, we can have a conversation about anything at any time. I've had her on the shows before, and she'll continue to make appearances throughout. I'm gonna get out of here though, team, because I want to go do something completely different, and I'm not gonna think about this anymore after I upload this video, other than interacting with y'all in the chat. I will pin the best comment to the top of the chat. All right. I appreciate y'all, team. Dotsale out.